ruling both the Eternal and Sith Empires through the host bodies Valkorion and the Emperor's Voice. The being once known as Vitiate was nearly ready for his invasion of the Republic, building spy networks, recruiting agents, and running war games, while also making an alliance with the Chiss Ascendancy and installing puppet governments on outer rim planets like Belkadan, Ruria, and Cernpedal, bringing them into the Empire before the fighting began. Seeking avenues to expand the reach of his direct influence and omnipresence, the Emperor placed the former Jedi Darth Nul in charge of a project to create the Children of the Emperor, individuals imprinted with the power of the ruling Dark Lord, to serve as spies and eventual hosts, allowing him to take complete control of their bodies at any moment. Becoming mother to the children, Darth Nul helped capture, indoctrinate, and imprint their victims until she ceased her usefulness and was eliminated. Taking a personal interest in the training of the first of these children, the Emperor took the apprentice Exal Kresh in the early 3600s, preparing her mind and body to become a host for his will. A descendant of the famed Ludo Kresh, who once fought Naga Sadow for leadership of the old Sith Empire, Exal Kresh was an intelligent, highly skilled, and powerful Force user, deeply loyal and obedient to her master. After centuries of delay, the Emperor finally overcame the influence of his captive Revan to enact his grand design in 3681 BBY, a plan first conceived over 1,000 years earlier as a means to exact vengeance against the Jedi and Republic for the defeat of the old Sith Empire in the Great Hyperspace War of 5000 BBY. Yet after a millennia of rule, the invasion now meant so much more, as the Eternal Empire waited in the shadows for the Republic and Sith to weaken each other so they might conquer the galaxy. Revealing part of his greater vision to the Dark Council and Sith Empire, powerful Sith Lords and conventional military forces took charge of the details, planning a masterful long-term strategy for victory. Beginning the Great Galactic War, the Empire launched a swift and brutal attack against the Jedi-led garrison of their ancient homeworld Korriban, defeating their enemies and taking the planet so efficiently, the rest of the Republic did not learn of this conquest until further losses were already upon them. Early into the battle, Sith Lord Vindican and his apprentice Malgus found the garrison leader, Jedi Master Keo Sindarach, and his Padawan Satil Shan, a descendant of Revan, engaging in a vicious four-way duel. Sacrificing himself so his Padawan could escape, Master Darach took on both Sith Lords at once, and even wounded Lord Vindican before he was killed by Malgus. Though Satil escaped, Darach was dead, and so Malgus, taking advantage of the opportunity, finished off his Master Vindican to complete his training as a Sith Lord, and stand as the sole victor upon this battlefield. Despite this brutal initial victory for the Sith, the rest of the Republic did not notice the danger until the assault in the Tingle Arm, when reports came in concerning the sudden presence of Imperial battlecruisers. Hoping to open a dialogue, the government sent a team of diplomats to the region, allowing the Sith to announce their presence by destroying the enemy ships only after they came close enough to take images of a massive Imperial armada ready for war. Responding to this aggression, the Republic sent a fleet to the Tingle Arm, near the planets Belkadan, Ruria, and Cernpedal, but in doing so, fell into a trap where they were surrounded and betrayed by those they thought allies. Inflicting yet another defeat upon their enemy, the Sith next targeted the planet Sluis Van, which hosted a significant manufacturing facility for the Republic fleet, bombing and destroying its shipyards, defeating ground forces, and killing anyone who was a soldier or refused to swear allegiance to the Emperor, a practice often repeated after future conquests. Meanwhile, the Republic Senate was paralyzed by division and indecision, with a vocal minority refusing to take the war seriously, unwilling to commit the resources necessary for a proper large-scale defense. Hoping to inspire the government and people to action, the Jedi Order took the lead in this fight, recognizing the danger posed by their ancient enemies in the Sith Order, and so chose the Minos Cluster to make their stand. Though the fighting was hard and progressed slowly, the Jedi scored impressive victories and made enough gains to succeed in their primary objective, inspiring many Republic citizens to join the military and spur the government into action. Compelled by public, military, and Jedi pressure, the Senate finally gave in and authorized a serious response to the invasion. Sending a defense fleet to the Saswana sector, they began their efforts by seeking to end a blockade against the Rima trade route, cutting off valuable resources to Republic worlds. Although their first attack failed, they eventually succeeded, giving them a taste of victory and hope for the future. While the Sith steadily won the majority of battles throughout the first 3 years of the war, the enemy grew increasingly aggressive and resourceful, making the Empire work hard to keep and expand their territory. Yet the ruling Dark Lord spent so many years preparing for this moment. The Republic was largely outmatched, with the many agents and spy networks of the Sith Empire wreaking havoc within the government, military, and Jedi Order. Yet this was not enough for the Emperor, who wished a more direct hand in the operations of his servants across the galaxy. Continuing his mission to prepare children as host bodies, the former Vitiate sought further research into the concept, sending his apprentice Exal Kresh to the planet Lenico 4 to study the local Ortolan people who believed their ancestral shamans could live on through their descendants. Yet it was in the course of this investigation she realized the truth of her master's plans, that she was being trained to serve as the first of his children, a host which he might activate and occupy at any given moment. Refusing to surrender herself, Exal rebelled and started feeding information to the Republic while she engaged in a new mission to destroy the Children project of her former master. Learning of this treachery, the Sith assassin Tenebrae was sent to eliminate this rogue operative, chasing her across the galaxy until 3678 BBY, when he finally struck her down in the Sith Academy on Korriban. Having learned of her purpose and the children, Tenebrae returned to the Dark Council and announced his success, while also demanding a promotion in exchange for information about the Emperor's secret project. Agreeing to his terms, Tenebrae became Darth Fenneton, a Dark Lord of the Sith who eventually grew his power base to earn a seat on the Dark Council. The second time he was betrayed by a Kresh, the Emperor banished her family name and destroyed all known records of their history and famous lineage, doing his best to erase their contributions to the Sith Order and strip any surviving relatives of their noble blood and legitimacy. The immediate threat to his personal project eliminated, the Emperor continued to kidnap children, training and preparing them with Sith rituals before endowing them with power to become vessels of his will. Ready to unleash his masterwork, the altered children were scattered across the galaxy, including many to the Republican Jedi, where most lived out their lives entirely unaware they were spies and hosts for the Sith Emperor. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like Sir Xavier, Defender of the Flame, Delacruz the Freed, Lady J Book Nerd, and Edengruir, Spicy Sky Frugran. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx, where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.